Today's video is a controversial one. Strap yourselves in. There were some opinions here that you may not agree with or you will agree with. Let me know in the comments, guys, in the video what your opinions are. But let's get on with it, shall we? Hello and welcome back to the channel, and today's topic is the Premier League Hall of Fame, a newly introduced system, I would say, or award sort of system that has been given by the Premier League, and the first two inductees have been named last week. There are also 6 more up for grabs by vote, I think. I'm not sure if it's by the public vote or by the PFA or Premier League vote. But anyway, guys, we're going to talk about our 6 out of the list that have been nominated, and also our discussions on the 2 people that have already been nominated already, or awarded the award, shall I say. Of course, it's Alan Shearer and Thierry Henry. Now, for me, I can't complain with those. A lot of people have had a few complaints. I don't think people understand how good Alan Shearer was at football. This is the difference here. People don't realise that Alan Shearer is actually a really good footballer. Everyone sees him on Match of the Day as some bald pundit, but kind of forget that he is the all-time Premier League top goal scorer. And that is actually a massive award. Like you can't like the list he's with Wayne Rooney, Andy Cole, Aguero, so many more names in that list. He has beaten all of them playing for Newcastle and Blackburn. I mean, it takes some levels to do that. As for Thierry Henry, now Thierry Henry for me, I think the difference is, I think a lot of people regard Henry as the greatest Premier League player, but Alan Shearer is the greatest scorer. So for me, to have those two as the first inductees of the Hall of Fame is logical. It's the only logical one. People are saying Giggs, excluding the drama that he's had in the last few weeks of allegedly, I'm not even going to say what he's been doing, but he's been doing stuff in the public eye that's not been good, and in private as well, to be fair. Not going to discuss Ryan Giggs, but if he was a clean person, or allegedly a clean person, he still wouldn't be the top 2 for me. He just wouldn't be. Some of you guys might disagree with that. Who is your top 2 in the Premier League for your Hall of Fame? Do you think it should have been Henry and Shearer, or do you think it should have been someone else? Let me know in the comments, guys. But now, we're going to move into our 6 nominees and see who we think should be my picks. Also, chat, while we're talking about the Alan Shearer record, he has got 260 goals, 64 assists in 441 Premier League appearances. Obviously, not all of those were starts. Doesn't matter, goals, appearances, whatever it is. But that is 324 contributions in 441 appearances for Newcastle and Blackburn. Now, obviously, Blackburn weren't a terrible side back then like they are now. Sorry to Blackburn fans. But regardless, still a massive, massive, massive feat for someone like Alan Shearer, who is now a pundit on Match of the Day, and everyone thinks he's just a normal pundit. But in fact, he is a history maker and probably very hard to beat. The only one I think who could beat him is Harry Kane if he stays in England, if he leaves Spurs. Apart from that, a very, very hard to beat record that many people have tried and massively failed on. But anyway, guys, if you are enjoying this video so far, why not subscribe to the channel? Almost at 1.3k subs is the goal. We're at 1.24 at the moment. Also, guys, leave a like if you're enjoying this episode as well. Subscribe for more of this, by the way, guys. Leave a comment below of your opinions as well. But let's get back on with the video and the 6 nominations that we think may reach the Hall of Fame very, very soon. So, as you guys can see on the screen here, we've got the 2021 nominees for the Hall of Fame for the Premier League. Print out Budweiser, because why not? And these are a list of players that we've got, you can see around me on the screen right now. Now, voting for this does close on the 9th of May, I think. I think it's a public vote. I'm not sure if you have to be in UK or Europe or where you have to be in the world. I don't know if you can be anywhere. Maybe just UK, but if not, have a look on the Premier League website for nominations. But here we've got Tony Adams, David Beckham, Bergkamp, Campbell, Eric Cantona, Andy Cole, Ashley Cole, Drogba, Les Ferdinand, Rio Ferdinand, Robbie Fowler, Steven Gerrard, Roy Keane, Frank Lampard, Letitia, Owen, Schmeichel, obviously Peter Schmeichel, Paul Scholes, John Terry, RVP, Vidic, Vieira and Ian Wright. Now, I think with the rules of this, you have to be retired before the 1st of January 2020. I'm pretty sure that is, which is why current players like Aguero and I think Company would be in this list for nominations, I'm pretty sure. However, you have to be retired by a certain time. Also, which is why Mark Noble is not in the list, but I'm sure he will be in a few years' time. If he doesn't make the Hall of Fame, the Premier League is rigged and hates West Ham. I expect in 15 years' time for Declan Rice to be in the same bracket as these as well. But for now, we have to live on with the big teams, which are pretty much is full of basically Arsenal, Man U, Chelsea, Lille players. A few players like Letitia and who else we got here? Les Ferdinand from other clubs necessarily. But these are my top 6 or my favoured 6 picks that I'm going to go for. The last one isn't decided, but the other 5 are kind of nailed on for me. I want you guys in the comments to persuade me who my 6th pick should be. I have my 5, but I need your guys' opinions on who the 6 should be. Also, let me know your 6 as well. It's very, very important. Also, guys, obviously vote. If you're going to talk about it in the comments, you may as well vote as well. My first pick, not in order. We are not going off order here. We have to pick 6 though. I'm not going on an order at all. Just the ones that spring to mind first. And my number 1 pick is Rio Ferdinand. There might be a slight bias for the first 2. They have played for West Ham. Rio Ferdinand obviously played for West Ham. Went to Leeds for, I think it was the world record fee for a player or a centre-back. I'm not entirely sure which one it is. I think it was both at one stage, actually. But yeah, he moved from West Ham to Leeds and, of course, had the best spell of his career, or the highlights of his career. But obviously, Man United won the Champions League and Premier League about 25,000 times. But to be honest with you, him and Vidic had a great partnership at the back. I think Rio Ferdinand is an absolute Premier League icon and a legend, and that's what I'm kind of voting for here. It's not necessarily about how they perform on the pitch, although Rio Ferdinand was an incredible player. But if you think about Premier League centre-backs, for me, the one that stands out playing as a centre-back as a kid is Rio Ferdinand, apart from obviously the West Ham ones. But the elite players as a kid, Rio Ferdinand was the one for me, I'd say. So he is my slot in at number 1 of my Premier League nominations for the Hall of Fame. Let me know in the comments, guys. Do you think Rio Ferdinand should pick it? I mean, a record-breaking transfer for a centre-back is quite hard to come by. For it to come from West Ham and for the Premier League is quite an achievement in itself. It's stood in the price tag, though, and an absolutely incredible player. Could bring the ball forwards like not many at the game back then. I say back then, it was like 10, 15 years ago. The game has changed a lot, though. Looking at these players, the game has changed a lot. And on to my second nomination, which proves the game has changed a lot, is a player turned manager, or ex-manager now, which is Frank Lampard. Like I say, some more ex-West Ham players. I'm not a massive fan of Lampard. West Ham fans don't like Lampard, but he's an absolutely incredible player. He was absolutely incredible. The goals that he got from midfield, but it's not just that. Everyone talks about Lampard and talks about the goals, but he was an incredible footballer. Like, he just was. He wasn't just a goal scorer. He was an unbelievable... I think for me, this is where the controversy starts. The Lampard-Gerrard Scholes debate is that order. It's Lampard, Gerrard, Scholes. It just is. For me, Lampard is the best midfielder out of those 3. Lampard has to be in the Hall of Fame. He's a top goal scoring midfielder in the Prem. I think he might be. I think he's a top goal scoring Premier League player. He's obviously a top scorer for Chelsea as well. Obviously, Chelsea are a huge Premier League club in the Premier League era. They're a huge club winning titles and everything else. For me, Lampard has brought Chelsea forwards. Without Lampard, would Chelsea be where they are today? I say maybe. But that's kind of hard to say. I just think Lampard absolutely was unbelievable in the seasons he played for Chelsea. And his stats show it. He was unbelievable going forwards. And a great midfielder overall as well. On to my third pick here. We've gone for Patrick Vieira. An unbelievable athlete. An unbelievable midfielder. We like a bit of midfielders here so far. 2 midfielders out of 3 so far. But Vieira, for me, part of the Invincibles of Arsenal. A Premier League icon. This is what it's about. This is about the players that stand out as a Premier League player. Think about midfielders in the Prem. You go for Lampard and Vieira, in my opinion. Martin Noble closely third, but like I say, not on the list. But Patrick Vieira, for me, an unbelievable player. I didn't get to see him play too much. I'm not sure when he left the Prem. Let me have a look. Let me have a look at Patrick Vieira and see when he left the Premier League. Obviously, I'm only 22, so he was kind of... When did he leave? When did he leave the Premier League? He left in 2005, 2006. Obviously, came back from Man City. We're not going to judge him with that because he made 28 appearances, which is actually quite a lot, to be fair. Great player still. But he left Arsenal in 2005, so I was 7. So I watched him. I watched him for 3 years. But do I remember much about him? Not massively in detail. I can't talk to you loads and loads about memories of Vieira because I was only 7 watching Arsenal. I was there for West Ham, not for Arsenal. But I know he was a great player. Unbelievable player. Obviously, history maker with the Invincibles and many other trophies of Arsenal. But for me, talking about Hall of Fame, I think Vieira has to go in it. 4th choice for me now, it's going to be one that people won't think about. It's going to be one that people don't think about. But for me, it is Michael Owen. I think not just the Premier League era, but for his whole career, he was an unbelievable striker. Obviously, he's a very boring pundit now. We all know that. But he won the Ballon d'Or. This is unprecedented levels for an English player, really. Is he the only English player to win the Ballon d'Or? I think he might be, actually. Was he the only English player to win the Ballon d'Or? Let's have a look. I feel like he may be. The only English player. I can't think of anyone else. I don't think Bobby Moore won it. I think Bobby Moore was in that top 3. But I don't think any other English player has won the Ballon d'Or unless I'm being stupid, which is a possibility. But for me, Michael Owen is an unbelievable player. Obviously played for Liverpool, primarily was his main one. Obviously played at Newcastle as well, and Man U, and then Stoke in his career. Yeah, his career at Stoke. A great place to retire for a Ballon d'Or winner. But for me, Michael Owen goes in there as a Premier League striker. The ones you kind of think about, apart from Aguero, who's not on this list, and Carlton Cole, is Michael Owen. Unbelievable player, unbelievable goal scorer, and for me, one of the best strikers that has sort of graced the Premier League. And to be honest with you, he has to go into the nominees list if he's won the Ballon d'Or in England and is a great Premier League striker. He's there for me. My fifth, and I say final choice, the one that's nailed in. Is it nailed in? I don't even know if it is nailed in. That's the thing. Because I'm not sure how good he was, because I didn't watch him. Like, I don't ever remember actually watching this player play. There are other options I could go for. I could go for other options, but for me, I think this one isn't necessarily based on ability. I didn't watch him. But we're talking about iconic moments and iconic players. The chip that he scored, the kung fu kick that he done. That's not the reason why he's in there, but he's a Premier League icon in my eyes. It is Eric Cantona. I didn't watch him. I don't know how good he is. The numbers, I know in my group chat, the numbers aren't there for him as a great player. But I can't judge him on numbers because I didn't watch him play. He could have been amazing but never scored. For me, if you're talking about Premier League icons and a famous player in the Hall of Fame, Eric Cantona is kind of up there for me. He may go in at number 5. I'm not sure. There are plenty. I'd pick Drogba over Cantona. I would. I like Drogba. I think he's an incredible player. I used to love watching him as a kid, even though I wasn't a Chelsea fan. I was West Ham. I'm a West Ham fan, obviously. Didier Drogba is an unbelievable player. But iconic moments, maybe Eric Cantona just edges him. I don't know. Now on to the 6th vote, which I need your guys' help with. Like I said in the video earlier, guys, I need your help with the 6th vote. I'm not sure who I'm going for. I have put down Ashley Cole. I think Ashley Cole is the greatest left back to play in the Premier League. People say Evra. Evra was a great fullback, but I think Ashley Cole was a very, very good player and obviously underappreciated by a lot if they don't rate him that highly. But there are other options there. Tony Adams, I didn't watch. I can't include him. I don't know. Arsenal fans will probably say, why have not got Adams there? I haven't watched him. I don't know. I can't vote for that. David Beckham, obviously an iconic player, iconic person. He could make that quite easily. He could easily be in there. Dennis Bergkamp, the fluky touch with his goal. That's what we all know him for, the fluky touch, of course. But for me, I don't know. Didn't watch him enough, to be fair. Like I say, Sol Campbell, incredible player. Obviously played for many Premier League clubs. Oh, I say many. Basically Spurs and Arsenal, really, wasn't it? But a very, very great defender. But for me, I put LD centre-back in there in Rio Ferdinand. I can't really have too many defenders, not many attackers. For Hall of Fame, you kind of have to go for attackers. There's always a bias towards attacking players. Andy Cole, didn't watch him enough. Drogba, we talked about, could easily be the 6th pick for me. Les Ferdinand, no idea. I know of him, but as in person, I never watched him. I can't comment on someone I've only seen on YouTube or Sky Sports Reels and stuff like that. I can't give a big enough opinion on him. You guys that are older than me might go, Les Ferdinand, why have you not picked him? I'm 22, like, I haven't watched him enough to put him in. Can I speak? Talking about my era, we're talking the Ashley Cole, Drogba, Rio Ferdinand, Gerrard, maybe Roy Keane at a push, Lampard era. Not Letitia, not really Tony Adams or even Eric Cantona, really, to be fair. I've just criticised Les Ferdinand, but I've picked Cantona for the same reason. I don't know why. Robbie Fowler, not for me. Steven Gerrard, not even talking about him. I hate him because of the 2006 FA Cup final. We're not going there. We're not talking about Gerrard. He's a fraud. We're not having that. We're not talking about Gerrard in this channel. Gerrard's not allowed, okay? No Gerrards in the comments, otherwise there will be a ban. If you dislike this video because of Gerrard love, I disagree with that. Don't like it. Roy Keane, didn't watch him enough to be fair. I know he's a great footballer, but like I said, I haven't watched him constantly enough to recognise him as my 6th pick. Could easily go in there though. Lampard had picked already. Letitia, great player. Never played for a big club, so kind of overlooked, overshadowed a lot, but a very, very good player. Michael Owen would pick. Schmeichel could easily go for a goalkeeper. Schmeichel was a great goalkeeper, we all know that. Absolutely unbelievable player for Man United. Obviously took over by Van der Sar after that. Paul Scholes, not for me. I can't pick 2 of the trio in that if I pick Lampard as my 2nd pick. I can't have Scholes and Gerrard in there. I just can't. John Terry for me, I mean, the less said about him personally, the better. I'm not a fan of John Terry. He's not going in. A great centre-back. I prefer Rio. John Terry's not touching the Hall of Fame. He can't touch the Hall of Fame. He's a horrible person. We can't be having him. Robin Van Persie, unbelievable player, but I'm not sure his legacy is as big as the other players. A much more modern player. I think he's the most modern player on this list, I'd say. But for me, legacy, hasn't got the huge legacy that other players in there have. Maybe in 20 years' time, look back at Van Persie, like we do the Bergkamps. But I'm not sure he has that calibre of legacy that requires the Hall of Fame first inductees to be Robin Van Persie. I'm not sure about that. Vidic, unbelievable player, makes a case to join Rio Ferdinand. Obviously, both because of each other effectively. Great partnership at the back. But for me, going to stick with Rio Ferdinand and not put Vidic in there. And of course, Ian Wright, great guy, great goal scorer, part of Arsenal, Palace, West Ham as well. Very, very good Premier League icon. But for me, is he a top 6 person? I'm not sure, and that's where it comes down to. Between the hatred of players, not knowing them enough, and whether they're deserved of a top 6, it's hard for me to pick a 6th person. It might have to be Ashley Cole or Drogba though. They're the 2 I'm thinking of. Let me know in the comments, guys, who my 6th pick should be. Who are your top 6 as well? Why am I not able to speak? Who are your top 6 in this video, guys? Leave a comment down below, of course. Like if you're new around here. Subscribe as well if you are new, like I say. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. One awful outro to hopefully a great video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you all later.